Hi everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood hanger hobbit here, and welcome aboard the A6m5 Ko Reisen, which unsurprisingly stands for Zero Fighter, which is exactly what this is. This is a Tier 4, Rank 4.7 premium, and one of the cheapest premiums you can get at Tier 4, and a great little grinder for Japan as long as you're willing to put up with some limitations. One of those limitations you're going to get to see in this match. Keep an eye out there on the bottom right. Watch how quickly this team just gets slaughtered. Why are they getting slaughtered? Because nearly the entire team refused to climb, charged straight in at everybody because they thought they were in turn fighters, which means they didn't need any freaking altitude. Newsflash, boys and girls, altitude is life insurance. Always get some altitude. When you are on the deck and you are slow, you are dead. That is exactly what's going to happen to this team right now. But come here. You're not going to be one of them that does it. No sirree, Bob. Oh, I love how Spitfires think they can turn with a zero. Only thing that can turn with a zero is a Chika, boys and girls. Now, right about here is where I start realizing something ain't quite right in Denmark. Because I've been over here for a couple of minutes now and I haven't seen any backup. So I'm trying desperately to save this little 190 because it's dawned on me he's about all that's left. We got one silly sucker and a Key 43 that decided to land on a runway with 6 Spitfires right above it. Because yeah, that's going to work. And oh, there went my only backup. Wonderful. Boys and girls, don't land on a runway if there are enemies above it. I'm sorry, the AAA is not that deadly. And here's another problem you're going to see with these zeros. They cannot take a hit. They just can't do it. But I did the best that I could, tried to save who I can. And as you can see, pretty much my entire team's dead. Because they didn't try. That's what happens if you get a team that doesn't try. This plane is not so OP that it can carry an entire match solo. It's a good plane, it's just not that good. It's not one of those like the Yak VK-107 or the Hitler Bolt where you've got so much firepower and so much speed that you can just pretty much carry the whole thing on your shoulders. It's not going to happen. Well, in a few minutes, after I sit here and just be amazed the fact that this thing keeps flying with only one wing, I'm going to end up going into the next match after watching the last two guys royally bork it, including that one up at altitude who decides diving 4,000 meters straight down is the way to go to do a boom and zoom, and can you guess what happens? Come on, take a little guess. I bet you know what's going to happen. Should I leave it in here? Yeah, you know what? Why not? This will be a great little example of what not to do when you want to try a boom and zoom, boys and girls. Booming and zooming is good if you've got a plane that you know the compression level on and know how to handle it. But if you don't, this right here is what's going to happen to you. I mean, look at this. He is going practically vertical. How do you think this is going to end? Yep. Exactly how you thought it would. So let's go ahead into that next match. As I deal with this BE6, which you'd be amazed how many times I have watched entire teams get slaughtered by BE6s and PE8s. I mean, good Lord, people. If you see one of your friends get shot down by one of these, don't just follow right behind him. Good grief. Anyway, as I'm taking care of that, let me tell you a bit about this bird. This is from the year 1943. This was supposed to be the upgraded ultimate A6m0. This thing has a Nakajima Sake 21 compared to the Sake 12 of the A6m2. What does that mean for you? It means you get 1,130 horsepower takeoff and 980 horsepower at 6,000 meters. Whereas the A6m2 could only manage 940 horsepower, and that was only at 4,200 meters. Finding out about this bird has not been easy. they made so many zeros with so many variants that trying to find out about one particular zero is like picking needles out of a needle factory. You find tons of information, but not on this one particular bird. But of course, more importantly, you're wanting to know how it handles in war thunder. And honestly, if you're one of those that complain about premiums being OP, this is the plane for you, because this is anything but. It has strengthened wings, which means you can take about another 80 to 90 kilometers in a dive. And the boosted engine means you can get up about another 1600 meters. But that's it. That's the only difference between it and your average A6M3. Other than, of course, the line and the RP boost, which is quite nice and will let you grind out pretty much all of the Tier 4s and Tier 5s for Japan relatively easily and cheaply. That's why I think this is a good bird if you need to grind out your Japanese tree, because it's probably about the cheapest way you can do it, but you're going to have to fight for it. As you can see, it's hard for anybody to catch up. So as I grind a little RP, let's switch back to when I find another bird, shall we? One nice thing is these 7.7s do work pretty good on ground targets, so as you're waiting for the next target, you can make you some quick money. As you can see, I've got my gun split to where I only fire the MGs or only the cannon, never two together. And I do that for a multitude of reasons. For one thing, this lets me see when Gaijin's pulled a little stealth nerf and made a gun kind of sparky, because I can tell I'm only firing the cannon, so if I'm getting spark, 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 hit, spark, 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 hit, I know that it's not me hitting it with the MGs, it's the cannon don't work. Number two, this lets me try out different belts for both the MG and the cannon without it throwing off my aim. And number three, it lets me save my cannon for the birds and save the MGs for the worthless little ground targets that's just making me a little extra RP. Now here's another little bit you need to remember about this bird. This thing can go from 0 to about 380 kilometers an hour extremely fast, but that's it. You want any faster than that, you're going to have to get altitude and put this baby in a dive. Because this thing, it just won't pull that much faster. 1130 horsepower at Tier 4 ain't a whole lot of horses, boys and girls. Especially when you're looking at stuff like the P47 MRE that has a 2800 horsepower motor in that sucker. So you're literally looking at planes that have more than double your horsepower. So you're going to have to remember that and plan ahead when you're doing your attacks. Now right here, you're going to see me do what you should be doing and what sadly a lot of players don't do when it comes to bombers. Focus on a wing. I know it's tempting to go for that big fat fuselage or neck that tail out, but lately the tails on these planes have been ridiculous. You can pour hundreds of rounds into the tail and it's not going to do diddly squat. But if you do some serious damage to that wing, he's going to have to keep control, because every time he switches to gunner view, that wing's going to drop like mad and he's going to lose control and it's going to go down. So that's what you need to do. Pick one wing and just pour everything into that sucker. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm getting up my speed and then I'm going to keep pounding that one wing. Just pour it in there. As you can see, he nailed my engine, but I nailed him. But another advantage to this thing is you can take some serious motor damage and still get it home if you know what you're doing. Now, I know it would probably be better if you used mech, but frankly, mech can be a royal pain in the butt. And I found I get nearly as good a results just by using that good old-fashioned eye key. Cruise for a bit, wait till it starts to overheat, pop that eye, drop that engine coolant down, let her coast for a bit, and then bring her back up. And you'd be surprised how far you can limp one with a seriously damaged motor. I'm going to end up having no trouble at all getting this thing home, even with the engine as busted up as it is right now. You're going to see in a few moments that I'm going to get credit for that kill. Right there it is, because exactly what I said would happen. He switched over to gunner view, lost control, and in it went. But sadly, he took the Key 61 with him. I ended up watching the replay, and he did exactly what I said you shouldn't do. He tail sat on that thing, and just poured and poured and poured into that tail, which did absolutely nothing, and he got ripped apart for it. So, as I limp this baby on home, let's switch on over to the last fight of this round, shall we? Now, I've just used an order to find this guy in the clouds, and some of y'all may not agree with what I'm about to do, but honestly, this guy had to go. He had already taken out like 3 of the freaking guys on my team. He was laser accurate with those guns. As you can see, I'm down to 3 guys. So I had done decided going into this fight, one way or another, he's going down. Period. The end. I got a 15% booster on my RP, and I think it was like a 50% booster on the line. So I'm getting a win out of this one, boys and girls. He's got to go. He is the last guy on the team. We're down to our air base, and it's got half health. If he makes it to that air base with a full load, he wins the game. So I'm the only one anywhere close enough to get to him. It's me. It's him. He is going to die. Yep, he's got me on fire, but I'm going to be most honorable. I'm sorry, Mr. PE8, but I couldn't let you take out our airbase like that. Sorry, but I just had to take the example of the old Japanese kamikaze pilots and take you with me, sucker. And yep, there he goes. Look at him fall. That was a good sight for me, because the bombers this past patch have been insane. I watched dumbfounded as a B-17 took over 200 Minigashots into the wing and flew off like it was nothing, like I was throwing Tic Tacs. I mean, it's been insane how buffed up some of these bombers are. And I think for a second, I thought for a second he was going to pull it up, and I was like, yep, surprise, surprise, bomber managed to save it. Nope. And I got the kill. Thank you, Gaijin, I appreciate that. Got to love that extra boost. Sorry about that, Mr. PE8, but I wasn't going to let you win that match all by your little lonesome. Not gonna happen, buddy. And if you get this plane, that is something that you're going to end up having to deal with, because Japanese players do not know how to handle a freaking bomber. Look at my USSR B-25 video where I slaughter 4 of them by flying in a straight line and letting the AI gunners take care of it. It's all going to be on you. But when you do good, look at this. Look at all this money. Look at all this RP. This thing is one hell of a grinder. Look at that, 100,000. Look at that, even without the booster, you're still making 60, 70K a match, not even killing that. Look how much I got on that Kika. So, should you get this plane, if you want to grind and you want something that's not going to be some super OP thing, something that's affordable, that'll really teach you how to fly a Japanese aircraft, yeah, I would say pick this up. It is a fun plane, and it's not some OP death machine. This will teach you how to fly pretty much any zero in the tree. Well, be sure to like and share, and I hope to see you up there in the clouds. Have a good one, y'all.